All right, so the question of if the function is continuous is really a question about if the limit is equal to the function value at that particular point. So at the end of the day, polynomials are going to be continuous on their domain, trig functions are going to be continuous on their domain, and so really this question about continuity is going to boil down to three major issues for functions, and those are: if you have a piecewise function, then you will need to do and go through the checklist. So you'll actually have to find the function value, the limit, and then figure out if they're equal. And when you go through that checklist, you're going to be interested in the split point. And that's usually the case because of the fact that, like, if you look at the first piece here, the 3x minus 5 is a polynomial linear function perfectly continuous. And if you look at the second piece, the x minus 2, again, linear function perfectly continuous. So the concern usually with the piecewise function is going to be, what about this split here in the graph at 2? So when you run through the continuity checklist for piecewise functions, you wouldn't be looking at any random number. It would be, does f of 2 exist? Does the limit as x goes to 2 of f of x exist, and are these guys equal? So that would be the issue for the continuity checklist, is what that split point is. Now, the other big issue that's going to oftentimes come up is fractions, because they do not have all reals as their domain. So we talked about how those functions, when we have a fraction polynomial over a polynomial, it will be continuous provided the denominator is not equal to 0. So you're really going to be focusing on where the denominator does not equal 0. And then square roots, it will be continuous provided whatever is inside of the radicand, is greater than or equal to 0. So those are the three biggies to look for when you're looking for, is the function continuous? Piecewise, usually you have to go through the checklist for the split point. Fractions, you have to look at where the denominator is not equal to 0. Square roots, greater than or equal to 0 for the radicand. And then all of our other functions usually are not going to be problematic. So polynomials are continuous on their domain. The trig functions will be continuous on their domains.